Okay, so now, in terms of my story, I want to kick this off with the dropping the ball story that I told a while back. I wrote it out for you guys in something. I think it was kind of like a secondary inference to some another article that I'd written, but I described this firsthand. You got to get this. I gotta explain this because I don't think the words cut it in the article. When I was a kid, when I was real young, uh, I'm gonna guess I it's just tough, kind of tough to put those memories together because I kind of just regained them recently. I didn't have them for a while, but I'm gonna guess maybe like 10-ish, probably younger. But I was a little kid, and I used to sleep. My mom and I would spread out like a thin, kind of like a roll up mattress thing that was like a foam pad. We'd roll that out over the living room floor and we'd sleep there because my grandmother lived upstairs and she had the room, her own room. We left her to, have her television and be alone and keep to herself. She didn't like too much hustle and bustle. So this is my grandma when my grandmother was younger and healthier and she, got around by her on her own. I miss her. But the other rooms, there was another bedroom and the attic, but they were like filled with my grandmother's shit, which is like old jackets and cosmetics and just like mannequins and all kinds of shit. Like she just had the whole house just filled with. I still have dreams sometimes where I go into places in my old house. Whenever I dream, I'm always in my old house that I grew up in most of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time. And I'll go into rooms and they'll be just filled with like, oh god, like warehouse. Like I'll go into the base. I remember when I go into the basement. It's like a warehouse. Like it's enormous and it's just filled with all these old dolls and mannequins and dresses and fur jackets and shit like that. Weird cosmetics all over the place, and I'm like flying around looking down on them, which, mind you, I'm flying around looking down on the shit that's in my basement. My basement was like the size of this bedroom in reality, but in this reality. But, anyways, my mom and I would roll out this foam pad and we'd sleep on it on the living room floor when I was a little kid. And we watched the television in the living room. We had the couch. One of us would likely sleep on the couch, but for the most part, we had the whole living room floor was a bed. And very often, I'd go to sleep. I'd be lying there, ready to sleep, and I remember looking at like a stuffed animal or something. I particularly remember this stuffed bear, and I don't remember like really having an attachment to any stuffed animals, let alone a stuffed bear. But I remember particularly looking at this bear one time, and then there were other things I'd look at, but this was one solid, bright memory. And as I start to trance out, as I'm drifting off into sleep, the the world around me, everything, and this bear especially would just it come in at me, and it'd be coming in and out, and everything would be compacting, everything would be expanding and contracting at me like rhythmically, not right along with my breath, but like a breath. World would be breathing in and out, and it would be like magnifying, and then it would faster and faster, and it would just be like this wobbly kind of just a state of flux between the two outermost and innermost quadrants of it, or whatever you'd call it, ranges. And and then I would be in this dream, and this dream was always the exact same thing. It's a just an endless white expanse, and honestly, looking back on it now, it's kind of like almost exactly like what I saw when I did dimethyltryptamine. So it kind of like seems like I might have been in that same place. And it's me and my father, and he has a globe, and this is the globe of the earth, and we're playing catch with it in this vast white kind of like glass floor, just this empty area, void white area, kind of crystalline in nature. You could make out that it was very much like the DMT trip. There's a crystalline aspect to it, but it was essentially just an empty white area, vastness. And we'd play catch with this globe, and as he tossed it to me, it would get bigger and heavier every time I caught it. And every time that I caught it, he would be laughing like it was funny. Not like funny like laughing at me, but funny like it was fun, and he's just playing catch and having fun, smiling. Meanwhile, every time I catch this ball, it's heavier and heavier and bigger, and I'm having so much trouble holding it up. And I can feel and I can hear and feel like screaming and crying from the planet. Everybody on the planet, the whole planet, every last living person on the planet screaming and crying, and I can feel their panic. I can feel their despair, and it's being in me. It's feeling in me, and it's like if I drop that ball, that's it. Everything's over. Everything, not just my life, but everything is done. If I drop that ball, and I'm struggling to hold that fucking ball up, and every time, and I toss it to him, he's got it with ease, and he just toss it right back, and it's like every time I toss it to him, I think I got a break. I'm like, finally get it to him, and then he just toss it right back with ease, real quick, and it's like no, and I panic, and it gets to me, and I'm holding it, and it's just like the weight of the world, literally, like every last living person screaming out directly at me, please don't fucking drop us, and I had that dream like every single night. And the thing of it is I would start losing it. I'd start freaking out and screaming and crying, and I'd be half awake at the time. At this time, I'd start to be half awake and half in the dream, which alludes to the fusion aspect of what I was. I'm speaking to the fusion of the ephemeral and perpetual selves, this life and that life, the dream world and this world, and I would be half in and half out. Which, mind you, the Magnavision thing, that's also something else that happened later. We'll get to that. I'll talk to it. I'll tell this whole story, but this one I gotta keep it short for you guys so you watch it because I want you to see these. Um, my mom would she'd see me freaking out and crying, and I'm half awake and I'm half in the dream, but I can't move. I'm paralyzed. I can't do anything, and I'm still in the dream halfway, but I'm half awake and I can see her, but I can't do anything. And she'd grab me. She'd freak out. She'd grab me. She'd put me on the sink, sit me on the sink, and she'd throw water in my face, and she'd slap me, and she'd try to wake me up, and I just couldn't fucking wake up for like a long time. It would be a while, like maybe 5, 10, between 5 and 10 minutes. She'd be doing that before I'd finally snap to and I'd wake up, and I wouldn't really have much of a recollection of it. But I you know, until later on, like it would come back to me. But for the most part, when she snapped me to, it was kind of like a temporary, what the fuck is going on? I have no idea what's going on. But that would be recurring over and over and over again. That would happen, the same scenario. It would happen all the time. And mom, I'm sorry that you had to go through that you had to see that. I apologize. But I think that's kind of like a an, a prologue to the story as it stands, because it really does tell a lot about things that would happen later on and aspects that shape my personality. So that is the dream, the dropping the ball dream, as best I can describe it now. It was very intense, and it's just, it had those aspects of being both here and there at the same time and fusing the two together, but being unable to wake up to snap to. It had the Magnavision thing, it had the weight of the world. But you guys, I got you guys now, and I got this whole fucking thing, and it's real. I'm not bullshitting you. We got serious fucking business to deal with here. That dream was that dream was prophetic, and I had a lot of other prophetic dreams we'll talk about. But let's cut this under 10 minutes. Thank you for watching. Keyless Alive to everyone. CR. Namaste.